right, class. Today we're going to be discussing A Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. I hope you enjoyed last night's reading because... Patrick, Clarice, please keep your focus on me while I explain our next activity. As I was saying, for this activity, we're going to discuss when the characters first meet in the garden.
What?
All right, let's get into our collaborative groups and work on designing a team poster, which illustrates the main idea of the chapter we just read. Everything you'll need for the activity is...
Oh, yeah.
Everything you'll need for the activity is in the supplies cart.
That's not possible.
Agent Muldy, there you are. You're just in time. We've received a report of another strange instructional happening. A teacher was observed getting their students back on task just by looking at them. This could be an index file.
An unexplained classroom occurrence? I don't think this qualifies, Agent Sculler. There's nothing in this case file that seems particularly impossible or paranormal. There could be any number of logical explanations.
Such as?
Teacher presence, for example.
So you're suggesting that a teacher could use simple but effective verbal and nonverbal communication to engage and manage their students?
I'm saying it's a possibility, Sculler.
Either way, I think it's worth a look. Don't you?
I admit I am curious to see what teacher presence looks like in real life.
Good. I booked our airfare this morning. Let's go, Muldy.
Welcome to Launch Your Classroom. I'm Rachel Durant. Do you believe in classroom magic? Or at least being visible to your students as an authority or as someone with important information to share with them? It might feel scientifically impossible to make a large group of students with individual needs believe they should pay attention to you. After all, students have so many distractions and motivations that you may feel, well, invisible. How can a teacher get their attention? Well, the key is presence. It's not really magic, but it's much more practical. With clear verbal and nonverbal communication, you can show such a strong belief in the importance of your content and your ability to teach it that your students will believe it too. Your classroom presence not only engages students in your content, but makes them feel like they have a place too. Being a firm, confident authority figure makes students feel safe while giving them structure for meeting your expectations. Your voice, body language, and visibility are essential for classroom management and student engagement. So, let's learn how to use some of these tools with our first strategy.
Students are easily distracted by their peers, surroundings, and even their own wandering thoughts. By developing a strong teacher voice, teachers can signal to students that it's time to pay attention and concentrate. With effective use of posture, volume, and projection, teachers convey the importance of the information they deliver.
Okay, class, time's up. Let's transition from our small group workstations into a class discussion about our conclusions.
Let's see how this teacher can use the three elements of teacher voice to help regain control of the class. The first factor is posture. Practice this one in front of a mirror. Stand with your feet hip width apart. and your weight evenly distributed. Take a deep breath. As you inhale, roll your shoulders back. As you exhale, roll them down and away from your ears. You will feel yourself standing taller. Lift your chin slightly and make calm, confident eye contact with your reflection in the mirror. Keep your palms open and relaxed at your side.
Okay, class, time's up. Let's transition from our small group workstations into a class discussion about our conclusions.
That's progress. Now let's move on to the next element of teacher voice. The second factor is volume. This is a great one to practice with a colleague. Have your coworkers sit at the back of your classroom and speak to them at an increasing level of volume. Ask your colleague to indicate the moment at which you become too loud. Bring your voice back down.
Okay, class, time's up. Let's transition from our small group workstations into a class discussion about our conclusions.
You're catching on. Time to move on to the final element. The third factor is projection. Using your best posture and volume from the previous steps, speak from your diaphragm as though you are sending your voice to the back wall. Pause briefly after each sentence and enunciate your words clearly. Ready? Let's try out all three of these elements together.
Okay, class, time's up. Let's transition from our small group workstations into a class discussion about our conclusions.
Way to go! When teachers develop a strong teacher voice, they immediately look and sound confident, professional, and in control. Students will also benefit since you help them understand the immediacy of a task and the importance of paying close attention. By using your posture, volume, and projection to manage your students, you can give voice to classroom leadership and professional identity as a teacher.
Around 1665, it is said that Sir Isaac Newton saw an apple fall from a tree, and he wondered, why did it fall straight down? Why didn't it just float away? This led to the discovery of gravity. Clarice is getting off task during my lesson. I'm going to use my non-verbal presence to keep my class on track without further disruption. The first nonverbal method I'll use will be to fill the physical space of my classroom. To start, remove any obstacles between you and your students. Standing behind a desk or podium will make you seem further away. Stand up tall and use meaningful arm gestures while you speak. Avoid crossing your arms over your body. Then, move around the room without a set pattern to maintain student attention. This will prevent misbehavior while also encouraging students to focus on the lesson. Gravity makes everything in the universe pull on each other. The moon pulls on the Earth and makes the water in the ocean move. As the Earth rotates, the ocean builds up on the side closest to the moon, and this creates tidal patterns. Looks like I need another nonverbal cue. During a sentence, stop speaking abruptly and hold on a long pause. Keep your expression neutral and don't be afraid to hold the pause longer than seems comfortable. This will let students know to correct their behavior with minimal effort. If gravity didn't exist, the moon would have probably floated away by now. It's held in place by the gravitational force of the Earth. Let's all open up our science books to chapter 4. The The last nonverbal cue I'll use is the surprisingly effective teacher look. This is a simple way to show authority. You can use it with the long pause or while teaching without breaking your pace. Level your gaze by bringing your chin down slightly as you make eye contact with the student. Tighten your eyes a little and maintain eye contact until they correct their behavior. The success of nonverbal management is based on the premise that you have a good relationship with your students and are a positive and energetic teacher. Otherwise, there won't be a contrast that surprises them. Clarice, great job getting back on task today. Filling the physical space, the long pause, and the infamous teacher look will help establish the classroom expectations. With all three of these nonverbal cues, you will communicate peaceful but firm command over your classroom.
Skeller,
It's me. Where are you?
I'm out at the old sawmill in the sycamore forest.
Why are you there?
There's a local legend that active learning techniques sometimes manifest themselves in the woods after dark. Why? Where are you?
He's in the woods. I'm in Mr. Evans' classroom. He's been kind enough to share some of his teacher presence resources with me. I think you better get down here. So, can you clear up one part about the timing of this particular lesson?
We all want our students to be ready to learn, but what exactly does that mean? Students who are ready to learn are attentive, engaged, and focused. This requires some effort on the part of the teacher, however, it is energy well spent. Consider this scenario. You deliver instructions, work begins, and suddenly you realize students still don't know how to complete the assigned task. You can prevent that from happening. Here are some ways to make sure that your students are ready to listen so that they can then be ready to learn. First, ensure that students have completed the transition from the last activity. A student who is putting things away in their desk is probably not ready to focus just yet. Then, use a familiar, engaging attention signal, such as a fun call and response technique. To enlist full attention, place yourself where you can make eye contact with every student in the room. Once the class is quiet and all eyes are on you, the students are ready to listen. Next, use your voice as a tool for engagement. Speak softly if the class just finished an active lesson, or with more animation when students' energy seems to be lagging. Then choose your words carefully. Brain research shows that our short-term memory can only store small amounts of information at a time. Be sure your instructions are clear and concise, with as few steps as possible, so students can remember and follow them. This is definitely a case where less is more. The last part of the process is essential. Have students repeat your instructions back to you. Younger students can respond in unison, but with older classes, you may want to call on a few individuals to restate your directions. If there is any indication that students are unclear on what you want them to do, start over. It could be that your directions were not specific enough, that some students were inattentive, or there are too many steps. If you restate the directions and students still cannot repeat them back to you, write the steps on the whiteboard for student reference. Then be sure to circulate as students work and provide clarification or reassurances as needed. Following this process will ensure that students are listening before you give instructions, which will better prepare them for the task they are about to complete. The time you spend making sure students fully understand what to do next will actually save time that might have been spent repeating directions. Ultimately, this approach will benefit everyone by giving students more time to learn.
When you are visible and active, speak with command, and use purposeful body language, you do more than capture your students' attention. You gain their engagement as well. And when you model authority and confidence, your students may even learn by your example to practice it themselves. So, use these strategies in your classroom and enjoy the benefits of purposeful teacher presence. This month on Launch Your Classroom, we're going to share more ideas for developing your teacher presence. We will discuss how to use positive language for classroom management. Then, we'll talk with an expert educator about the role of teacher presence during instruction. Finally, we'll close out the month with some tips for building your confidence and positive self-talk in and out of the classroom. So, be sure to like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel to get our upcoming content. And check out launchyourclassroom.com for all your professional development needs. Thank you, and we'll see you next time on Launch Your Classroom. Tone of voice, authoritative and warm. Body language, confident and purposeful. Visibility, clear and mobile. Well, Mr. Evan, I have to say you've done an amazing job.
Agent Skeller, SPI. I see you met my partner, Agent Muldy. We'd like to ask you a few questions about the unexplainable way that you manage your students.
Actually, Skeller, we've just spent the last half hour explaining it. Teacher presence.
You're sure?
Yes. I was just complimenting Mr. Evan on the thoughtful and hard work he's done in developing his classroom bearing and communication skills, verbal and nonverbal. It's saved him a ton of time when it comes to classroom management and engagement, giving him more time to focus on his content.
So you're saying this isn't an index file?
Not this time, just good old-fashioned professional development.
Yeah, okay, you're right. But somewhere in the classrooms of America, I'm certain that we'll find an unexplainable phenomenon. Because after all, the truth is...
Come on, Skeller, let's go. Mr. Evan has a lesson to prep for tomorrow. I'll drive.